got some great guys here this morning, and some of you may know each other, and for those that don't, you'll be introduced very shortly. We have Alex from the National Deer, Whitetail Deer Association, National Deer Association, correct, Alex?
National Deer Association,
National
correct?
Deer Association, yeah. And we have John Ellis and Dick Ellis from On Wisconsin Outdoors. They produce an excellent paper. I get their PDF every month, and we're keeping up with all that. You guys, if you ever want to look into that, it's really good stuff. And then we have Chris Vaughn from the Hunters National Association. So we're going to have some really good conversations here. And I think we're going to start with Chris, if that's
Yep.
okay. All right, Chris, tell us a little bit about the Hunters National
Yeah.
Association, just so people are aware and what it is you're involved in.
Yeah. So I'm the Wisconsin State Director. We are a national organization, but I represent Wisconsin for Hunter Nation. And so we do quite a bit of work throughout the country for hunters' rights, essentially. So what I do is I advocate for hunters' rights, specifically in Madison throughout the state. We operate in two different ways, through a 501c3, which is what I do, through outreach, education, and policy. We're a conservative organization, so we don't necessarily endorse a political party or political candidates, but we do endorse policy that's right for hunters and trappers and fishermen throughout the state.
Okay, all right. And there has been some issues, obviously, that you guys have had to be involved in, which I think all four of us, the other candidates and myself, are also involved in. For a lot of the guys, I know one of the things that we've talked about in the past has been the wolf problem, and I'm sure we're going to be getting to that and some.
Yeah.
The other
So
guys.
it's twofold. So we have a hunt the vote side of things, and these things go hand in hand. It doesn't have to be political, but even if you're not
Right.
a hunter or a trapper, and listen, I support wolves on the landscape. Hunter Nation is pro wolf. We do think that wolves have a spot in the state of Wisconsin, but they certainly they need to be managed and not protected anymore. So
Right.
that's one of the things. So we support HR 845, which is Congressman Tiffany's bill, the Pet and Livestock Protection Act. And what that does, it's a federal delisting, which is important. But I'd say the second most important thing, maybe the single most important thing on this, is it removes judicial review. And why is that important? Well, if you look back at previous hunts, so we've had four hunts. We had 2012, 2013, 2014, and 2021. And so if you look back at 2021, that hunt was held in the state February of 2021. And unfortunately, Hunter Nation had to sue the DNR in order to have that hunt. So as you guys are probably all aware, hunting and fishing is a constitutionally protected right here in the state of Wisconsin. And so once that delisting occurred in late 2020, the DNR said that they were not prepared to have that hunt. And that's unacceptable. So what they wanted to do is push that hunt off into the fall, which we were scheduled to have a hunt in that spring, late winter, early spring, and then also one in the fall. But we knew for a fact, and this is exactly what happened, is that an out-of-state liberal judge in the state of California overturned that right after our very successful hunt in February of 2021. So, and the wolves have sat there since. But just to put that into perspective, if you look back at 2012, 2013, and 2014, we averaged anywhere from like 117 to 257 wolves that were harvested during those three wolf hunts. And those three hunts took anywhere from 52 days to almost 70 days to harvest those amount of wolves. If you look at February of 2021, we took 218 wolves of a quota of 200, and it took 60 hours. So very telling. A, it's a fully recovered species. And B, at this point, the landscape, it's not sustainable. They're moving south. Depredations are up on both livestock and deer, not in all areas. But they're an absolute factor. And right now, they're a liability to the state. And as hunters and trappers, we have the ability to turn them into an asset for the state.
Not to mention that they've also planted elk in Wisconsin, and which could also become a problem if with the numbers growing the way they are. and if it's not managed correctly, it can become, so. And people with their pets, their dogs and stuff. I mean, I know there's a lot of nature lovers out there, wolf lovers, but they have to understand there's a balance and hunters, and that's the one thing that people don't understand is that hunters bring a lot of money to land regeneration wildlife habitat, and they are needed.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. And right now the DNR operates within a deficit year over year.
Right.
And so and I hate to turn it into revenue, but it's absolutely true. That's not the only reason. There's massive conservation reasons to be able to harvest, lethally control wolves so they can remain in the asset column. But our depredation numbers are up. Last year it cost, I think, well, in 2024, I don't think the 2025 numbers are out, but it's going to cost over $300,000 in taxpayer funded money to repay landowners for depredation for both their dogs, pets, hounds, and then also livestock. So you're absolutely right, Dean.
What does it take to change that federal act? I mean, how do we, is,
Yeah.
is the public, for the public's sake, I think Dick and John have a good idea, and Alex probably, but to get the federal act to act on it, what can the public do to help out with a problem like this?
Well, it's passed Congress already, so we're halfway there, but we
Okay.
need 60 votes in the Senate for that to pass. And so we know that it's a fairly, I don't say a conservative or, Republican and Democrat issue, but we know we've got 53 Republicans in there. So if everybody voted party lines, it wouldn't pass at this point. So we do need some bipartisan help. We have that in the state. We have both of our senators, both Ron Johnson and Tammy Baldwin, do support this. So we've got
Okay.
that within the state of Wisconsin. So that is a positive thing.
Well, I'm glad you're supporting it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it just makes sense because, again,
Right.
our goal is not to eliminate wolves from the landscape by any means.
Right.
We know that the science says we can harvest 29% of the wolf population, have zero impact on that population. So, again, it's just a matter of getting the votes within the Senate, and then you got that federal delisting. But then, more
Right.
importantly, it moves that judicial review for at least 5 years, unless the Secretary of the Interior says, we have a massive problem, they do need to be relisted. But that's the problem: is that once a species goes on the ESA, literally an act of Congress to get them removed. There's no trigger mechanism that says, we've hit our carrying capacity. It's an automatic removal. It has to go through the legislature.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that was one of the questions I'd have, and I think we're going to be presenting that. We're going to get to some of our journalists here and talk with them about it. And there was a few other questions, but I think you answered them because I was kind of, people want to know what it is that you do with the Wisconsin chapter on Hunters Nation, and so and that's another thing too, Chris. I think this goes for all of us. If people joining or donating their dollars to help out with our causes, we can help fight this better. Correct? Now, I'm not telling people give us money, but they can actually join the organizations as well. And
it goes into the fight, and we're a nonprofit organization. So for $50 a year or $100 a year, obviously, that doesn't, we're not doing this,
Right.
as this isn't my full-time job. I mean, this is
Right.
something I do because I'm passionate and I work hard for it. But it goes full circle. The other piece of it is, we have a hunt the vote effort, and surprisingly, at least for us initially, is that 50% of licensed hunters don't vote.
Yeah.
And for a wide range of reasons. A lot of people think their vote doesn't matter, but our numbers show differently. If you look back at the 2024 election, we were able to mobilize. We kind of categorize conservative hunters. Again, we don't tell you who to vote for. We say, what are your values? My values and the values of Hunter Nation are God, family, country, our Constitution, our outdoor heritage, Second Amendment rights, things like that. And so we say, vote your values, and one candidate typically stands out more than the other that supports those, what we would say, high conservative values. So then, we put that target that on a resonance scale of high conservative values to liberal progressive values. And then we want to make sure we're knocking on the right doors. And, within that election, then we kind of categorize no, low, mid, new, and probable voters. So we're able to kind of separate those that we know that have high conservative values, licensed hunters. And within the state of Wisconsin, we targeted over 500,000 of those folks. and some of them hadn't voted in 4 election cycles, 16 years, high conservative values, a licensed hunter, shares those same values, but just doesn't vote. And then it went from there. So when we broke that down from the no and then low once in 16 years, and then new, which is a first-time voter just based on their age, we turned out over 118,000 voters in the 2024 presidential election that would have high conservative values that would likely support. In this state, this is just a fact that it turned from blue to red. And, we were able to motivate over 118,000 folks that at most voted once in 16 years.
Oh my goodness. Well, so I got a little message out there for the hunters. Get out and vote, please. It's very, very important. Very important. And we'll be presenting that to them. Chris, I'd like to go on, but we have four other guests here, so we're going to.
I can do this all day, so please let Dick and John and Alex speak. Otherwise, we might be here till tomorrow.
Okay, yeah.
And Dick and I have an event to go to tonight anyway, so I got to get to pick him up. So we're driving to Green Bay tonight for a banquet. So we're not in a time crunch, but I still have to get over there to pick him up later this afternoon.
So what time does that start? Okay. Well, we'll be getting into that. Yeah, you can do that, Chuck. My wife here, my little secretary, the one that orders me around. She tells me what to do. Okay, well, John, since you popped up, I guess we're gonna John or Dick. We got Dick here. What do we got?
Dick and John.
Dick and John. We got both of you guys. All right. Well, let's go with Dick. You go ahead and start because you just popped up on the screen. So, by the way, if any of you guys feel like asking one of the other guys a question, please feel free to do so. I mean, it's my podcast, right? It's our podcast. This is for the public, and we want to educate them and have fun with it. All right, let's get going. Dick, tell us a little bit about On Wisconsin Outdoors.
Okay, thanks for having us. It's we're in our 19th year of publication. We put out 100,000 print copies of our paper bi-monthly. That includes 650 quick trip stores, and we insert in southern Wisconsin, northern Illinois, and we're advertiser driven. And 19 years ago, we started off as an entertainment vehicle for hunting and fishing because that's what we do. And then we ventured off into, because we're hunters, we had John and I and our family, and basically we hunt we're northern Wisconsin hunters. So we went from, in the 1990s and early 2000s, we had a 50% success rate hunting, learning the northern country, carrying tree stands in on our back. We don't bait personally. We just choose not to do that.
Right.
So we would have, we'd figure it out. We'd hunt oak ridges, funnels, things like that, figure out where the deer were as northern Wisconsin hunters. We saw our success rate go from 50% in the 1990s and early 2000s to literally not seeing a deer over a decade. Yeah. And we thought this reflects tens of thousands of hunters in the North Country. So we had the vehicle in On Wisconsin Outdoors, and I want to include that we're not just print. We are also online. We have every issue. This is all at no cost. In addition to the 100,000 print, we have each issue on our homepage for anybody who wants to tune into our homepage. And we have PDFs. If you go to our top of our homepage, you can sign up for each issue sent to your inbox as a PDF. Yeah. So it's pretty nice. And on top of our homepage too, we have a Hunter Nation Super Hunt. A raffle, and we have a $25,000 Sportsman's Spring giveaway right now. So we have a lot of things going. But back to what I was talking about, our success rate, we reflected tens of thousands of hunters. So we started looking into that, and we started doing an informal population census. So what we do is we ask our readers, I don't know if you can see this, but
I see it very well.
So what we did is we asked our readers from their trail cams to send us just what they captured as far as wolves, the date, the number of wolves in the county. And after 2 months, we had from 17 photos representing 12 counties, we had captured 50 wolves.
Wow.
So our question was, with those few 17 photos, and Chris knows this too because he's had similar experience, did we capture 5% of what the DNR was telling us is on the landscape with that? So since that time, as you can see, what we do is we fill in the map with red
Right.
every time we get a photo or a video from a county. We fill it in red. And right now we have 40, and after 2 years, we have approximately 40 counties of the 72 Wisconsin counties filled in.
Yeah.
And there might be a few more deer that we're seeing in the North Country, but we believe that the wolves are migrating with where the deer are
I believe
to the
that
south.
as coyotes do the same thing. I mean, here in the southeast, okay, you see it. I've seen them chasing deer, pheasants, whatever they can. I've seen it. I've been
Right.
out there when it's taking place. So, yeah, the wild dogs they got to eat, and they're going to go after however they got to do it. They're going to do it, and they're intelligent animals, but unfortunately, again, we got to go back to there has to be some type of control, and that's important.
Well, I think that's true. And another component of this, or that we ask, we don't agree with DNR management right now, but also man as a hunter, as hunters, we're much more logically, we're more humane hunters. We sight in. We try to not take the shot that's not ethical. We try to recover, put that deer down now. And like Chris and probably everybody here, we want to see wolves on the landscape,
Yeah.
but in a proper management and a proper balance. So they are, we like to see them here, but they are by nature a vicious killer. And they literally eat the deer alive.
Oh yeah.
And it's a cruel thing, and it's not like that we're against the wolf, because we're not. I love seeing a wolf from my tree stand,
Yeah.
but too many is not good.
Too many is not good. Yeah,
Right.
it's well, that's the big issue, and there's so many topics and I'm going to probably have each one of you guys back. There's so much we could talk about. I mean, uh, but yeah, that's been a problem, and it reflects in all of our work. I mean, Alex is with the National Deer Association, so that's he's involved in it, and we're all involved in it to a degree. I mean, every one of us are outdoorsmen. We love the outdoors, and we see the changes. It's I didn't mean to get totally off topic on everything for the land hunts and everything else, but I just felt it was important to bring the subject up on the wolves because I know it's been a big problem that a lot of people are facing right now.
But as far as the deer hunting, absolutely, it was decimated.
Yeah,
Decimated over,
it's
and
changed.
we think we're speaking for tens of thousands of northern Wisconsin hunters. And like Chris mentioned, we're losing our heritage and we're losing our tradition, because there's a lot of guys who, including another brother of ours who came from Minnesota, spent those license fees,
Yeah,
deer hunted, participated in the 50% success rate, and he's not coming. He's not giving the money. He was part of that, not seeing a deer for 10 years. So where's that money going? And a lot of the guys in the northern Wisconsin are now either migrating to southern regions to hunt,
yeah,
like a third brother of ours, who moved to central Wisconsin from Iron County, and
yeah,
now the wolves are there.
yeah,
It's the same thing. They're migrating with the deer, in our opinion.
yeah. Well, yeah, yeah. And
That
Okay.
map
So
is very important. That map that Dick showed is very, very important. There was a gentleman by the name of Corky Meyer that used to run a social media page that was called like the Citizen Wisconsin Citizen Wolf Count, and it did that. And then Dick and John have kind of picked that up and taken that to show where we're getting more and more wolves. And why is that important? Because when the DNR counts wolves, they only take into consideration historic range. They don't count one-off. They don't count lone wolves. They only count certain areas. And that's why, in my opinion, we have a significant problem, because the DNR says we have 1,226 wolves within the state of Wisconsin, which is about 102 less than what we had last year. And there are reasons for that. But it's important to note, because he cited those pictures, and we have kind of that same thing. We have 4 trail camera pictures from 4 separate different counties that shows 42 wolves. So they're saying the average pack size is about 3.6 or 3.4. Well, those 4 pictures say it's plus 10. Now, granted, that is a one-off, but that's 3.5% of the entire state's population of wolves, according to the DNR, in 4 pictures. It's just not right. And so we need to work better with the DNR and help with those wolf counts and do what we can, because they're absolutely migrating and moving south and moving into areas that are outside of their historical range. And we need to absolutely do a better job of counting wolves, so we know what that is, so we can adjust our carrying capacity. I won't even get started about adaptive management versus numeric population goals. That's a whole nother topic we can talk about. But I have a massive concern with our current wolf management plan that was adopted by the NRB, because we moved to an adaptive management, which is far too vague for an apex predator within the state. But that map is very telling, and what Dick and John are doing in that, to continue to highlight that is something that we need to continue to focus on.
One more thing, I would like Alec to jump in here because we're not trying to
Absolutely.
overwhelm this. But another thing is social media can't be a part of this. They always use social media. It's got to be hard science, hard numbers. You know, you have advisory board people with anti-hunting, and how do you feel? Surveys that out of state people can participate in and answer as many times as they want to. How do you feel about the wolf? That, you know, and then when we have a hunt and we take 218 animals in what Chris said, 60 hours or whatever, then it's called a slaughter. But it's not a slaughter. It's actually very close to the management goals.
Yes,
And
yes.
okay, so anyway, I'll be quiet now. Alex, you
Oh,
haven't
there's
said a
so
word.
much, guys.
Sorry.
We could talk all day, and I want to get to John too. Alex, let's get on with the national. Oh, and again, you guys feel free to ask questions and jump in as Chris did. So, gentlemen, we should have a few more of these. I think there's a lot of things we could cover, especially on the walleye, John. And we'll be getting to that too one day here. Let's, Alex, let's go ahead, buddy. Let's talk about the National Deer Association. What do you got for us? Tell the people who you are and what it's about.
Yeah, so my name's Alex Gundrum. I work for the National Deer Association as a field to fork coordinator. So I focus on a adult-driven learn to hunt experience. So we take adults from non-hunting backgrounds, send them through our Deer 101 training as well as hunter safety. We have a classroom field day, and then they get paired up with certified mentors for the first time and go on their first hunt and hopefully have success. And then from the hunt, we try to pair them up with a local network of new hunters, and so they can join together, do a potluck, share their stories, and then hopefully from there keep hunting and become mentors. One of the fascinating things about our program is that we have an 80% retention rate after 5 years when people do it our way, which just speaks volumes. I mean, this program has been around for probably the last 10 years, and across the nation it's been successful. I think last year we operated in 16 different states, and I mean, it's just amazing to see somebody go out on their first hunt and have a good positive experience. And the mentors just love it. I mean, you get to a certain point where killing another 8-pointer doesn't really mean anything to you or mean as much to you. You don't say, I wasn't that excited. But to see somebody else get their first year, I mean, you'll never forget that feeling.
It's awesome. I was a mentor on a couple of hunts, and there's nothing like it. You also put out a paper, Alex, for the National Deer Association. I don't know who does that. If you're part of that, or
Yep. So at the National Deer Association, our main writer is Lindsay, Dr. Lindsay. I think is can't remember the last name right now off the top of my head, but actually Lindsay Thomas Jr. Does most of the writing, but any employee can ask to write about a certain topic. Like if I was an expert on X, I could write something about that. But yeah, we have a great wealth of resources, whether it's shed hunting or frost seeding, when to do it, how to do it, when and how to do your burns, food plots versus early successional forests. It's all available for free online at deerassociation.com. If we don't have something you want to learn, email us and we will get right on it. We got a great team of really passionate people, and they just want to do the best they can.
Great. Do you have more you want to add? Because I want to get on to John here. We're running out of
Nope,
time.
you move right on.
All right, John, let's talk about it. Or tell us a little bit more about your part of the job with the paper you guys put out.
Well, I'm pretty much in charge of what I would call logistics. I do
Okay.
write. I write for the paper, but I do things like help with the distribution and those kinds of things.
Okay.
But before we run out of time, I want to piggyback on something that Chris was talking about, and that is Wisconsin's new wolf management plan does not have a target number that they want to manage the wolves to.
Right.
And when you compare that to Montana, Wyoming, and Idaho, those three states are geographically much larger than Wisconsin.
Right.
And Montana has a management goal of 400 wolves. Wyoming has a management goal of 200 to 300 wolves. And Idaho has a management goal of 500 wolves. And Wisconsin has no number. So
Okay.
what they are, the adaptive management plan, in effect, is a way of pretending they're managing wolves while not managing wolves.
I agree, John. I think it's a terrible situation. I think we need to get it figured out. Your paper says a lot, and people can get a copy of that at Quick Trips for free, or they can get the PDF file by going to onwisconsinoutdoors.com. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
They sign up. It's free OWO at onwisconsinoutdoors.com.
Okay. Yeah.
It's at the top of the website, and also they can send their photos and their cam shots to wolves at onwisconsinoutdoors.com.
Okay. Boy, guys, I want to talk about so much more. And John, I didn't give you much time. So can we pick this? Would you and I'd like to have you guys back on here. Would you be willing to do that?
Oh, absolutely.
I appreciate all you guys for being here. And I'm going to get this out, get it out to the public ASAP.
Thanks, Dean. Thank you.
All right, guys. Thanks.
Have a good day,
man.
Nice to meet you guys.
Oh, what's that? I'm sorry.
It's nice to meet you guys.
Oh, it was great.
You too, Al.
Oh, it was awesome meeting you guys. Yeah, everybody together. That's nice. All right, guys. Thanks so much, and we'll get into a lot deeper conversation coming up here.
Yep.
Thanks, Dean.
You
See everybody.
Thank you.
Have a great day,
very
guys.
much. You guys have a
Bye.
great day.